everyone. My name is called Apea Joseph, and I'm a program officer working with Field of Hope. I am attached to Smallholder Farmers Advancement Pillar, a pillar that works with smallholder farmers here in Uganda. So in this video, I'm going to take you through what agriculture looks like in Uganda. So in Uganda, agriculture is a backbone of Uganda's economy because it contributes to more than 24% of GDP, and that is the gross domestic product. And 80% of the population primarily depend on agriculture for their livelihood. So that means agriculture employs more than 80% of the population in Uganda. So it is a very important sector in Uganda. So with that said, you find that you will be able to notice and deduct several characteristics how agriculture is practiced in Uganda. So you find that of the 80% of the population that depend on agriculture, you find that more than 90% of the population, they are smallholder farmers. So that means they own between 1 to 5 acres of land. And these are really very small. So these are small scale farmers. And what they do, their life depends entirely on working on these 4 acres of land. And another characteristic that you see in Ugandan's agriculture, you find that women contribute more in the production. That means more than 76% of the production is done by women. When it comes to weeding, when it comes to harvesting, when it comes to post-harvest handling practices. So women, they contribute more in agriculture, more than their counterpart as men. So the major crops grown in Uganda, it depends on what we call agroecological zones. So you find that in Uganda, we have so far about 9 agroecological zones. And these 9 agroecological zones, they have been characterized depending on the vegetation, depending on the climate, depending on the soil type, and depending on the altitude. So if I'm to take you to the northern Uganda where the Penn State is going to come, so you find that the northern Uganda has the northern Uganda agroecological zone. So in this zone, you find that their climate is kind of semi-arid and humid in nature, and it supports the growth of crops like maize or corn, soybean, simsim, groundnuts. You've mentioned them. And you find that people from the northern part of Uganda, they also keep livestock, and they're involved in keeping livestock like goats, like sheep, like cattle, and like pigs. And this agroecological zone of northern Uganda support the rearing of this livestock and the production of this crop. So that is what I can tell you about the agroecological zones in Uganda. And what I have to tell you also, there are 2 rainy seasons in Uganda. So that means our farmers, they can produce in 2 seasons. So we have the first season that starts from around March to June, and we have the second season that starts from around September to November. And between the month of December till February, and that is a dry season. So you find that it is very hot, so you cannot carry any agricultural activity. The only activity you can carry out is with the aid of the irrigation. And you find that most farmers, they resort to plowing the swampy area, and you find that they are growing the horticultural crops like tomatoes, like onions, and those crops, they are very expensive during those dry season because it is an off season, and most farmers, they are not producing within that season. Thank you so much for listening to this video.